والنجم إذا هوى ما ضل صاحبكم وما غوى.
Then we get to Ibn Ashur, rahimahullah, a more contemporary scholar, the author of At-Tahrir wa Tanweer. What does he have to say? وَنَفْيُ النُّطْقِ عَنْ هَوًى يَقْتَضِي نَفْيَ الجِّنْسِ مَا يَنْطِقُ بِهِ عَنِ الِاتصاف بِالصُّدُورِ عَنْ هَوًى سواء كان القرآن أو غيره من الإرشاد النبوي. This is Allah denying any involvement of hawa. We haven't defined hawa yet. Any involvement of what they translate as desire, there's no involvement of it in the Quran or anything else in which the Prophet ﷺ is guiding people. But he adds a clause, guiding people. So I want you to understand this properly. We have to distinguish between the role of the Quran and the role of the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. I know we use the phrase Quran and Sunnah all the time, but this is an intricate issue that I want you to understand some things about it at least. There are instances in the life of the Prophet ﷺ where he took a decision when no revelation came. He just made a decision. He decided to free captives in Badr, right? We freed them. Then revelation came. Why did you free them? They should have been executed. The question is, Allah could have revealed before to execute them. Allah chose not to reveal it, and then He let them go, and then He revealed it, right? What's the point of doing that? The point of doing that is to show that the Prophet ﷺ makes his own decisions sometimes. And the only one that has the right to correct him is who? Is Allah. Because even though he's the Prophet, he's still at the end of the day, Abd of Allah. So Allah will do that. At Tabuk, when Makkah was conquered and we were about to engage with the Roman Empire, some hypocrites came to the Prophet and said, we can't go to battle. It's too much fitna for me. I'm just going to end up getting married on the way. So I can't do it. Can I not go to battle? Because, too many women are interested in marrying me and I'm just not going to make for a good warrior. I'm a lover, not a fighter, basically, is what he said. And the Prophet ﷺ said, stay home. And if I was the commander of an army, I would ask the guy to stay home too, because that's clearly a liability on the battlefield. Why can't we all just love each other? That's... So it's a good military decision to keep that guy at home. He's going to disrupt, he's going to cost lives on the battlefield. Allah afterwards revealed, "Afallahu anka lima adhinta lahum." May Allah forgive you. Why did you give him permission? Right? Now, in those moments, did the Prophet ﷺ give him permission based on revelation or based on his own decision? It's clear he made his own decision, right? He made his own decision. Now, there's other instances. You have the Prophet ﷺ asking the Sahaba to set up their camp, the military camp at Uhud. He picked a place. And the Sahaba said, is this from revelation or is this your opinion? The Sahaba asked this question, which means the Sahaba are very clear that they also know that sometimes the Prophet ﷺ is expressing his own opinion, other times it is revelation. And then he said, no, this is my opinion. And they said, if this is your opinion, then we dare disagree. We think this is a better position. That happened. The Prophet ﷺ came from Makkah, described famously as Wadin Ghayri Dhi Zar', a valley that has no vegetation. He comes to Medina, people are growing dates, right? So he sees some, date growing practice that's a little strange to him. He asks the planters, why do you do that? They say, so we get a good crop. He says, I don't see the point in doing that. They thought this is revelation from Allah. They changed their farming practice. There was no crop that year. And they said, Ya Rasulullah, you told us this. And he said, Antum a'lamu bi umuri dunyakum. You know your worlds better. I was just saying that. Like he wasn't giving them revelation. So the distinction of Ibn Ashur here is really valuable. Why is it valuable? He's saying when the Prophet ﷺ is giving spiritual guidance, religious advice, the distinction between right and wrong, that is never based on what? Hawa. That is not based on hawa. That's not based on empty feeling. But then hawa is also a interesting, deeper meaning of the word hawa that I want you to know. Al-hawa is actually emptiness. Between any empty space is called hawa. A coward is also called al-hawa, jaban. لأنه لا قلب له فكأنه فارغ. It's as if the guy has no heart. It's empty inside the heart. There's no courage inside his heart. So he's called a coward, a hawa, a bottomless void. Like one of the names of hell is Hawiya, right? فَأُمُّهُ Hawiya, because it keeps going and going and going. It's bottomless. That's فَأُمُّهُ Hawiya. And falling to a lower place is also hawa. And from it, we get the meaning of love, actually. I don't like the translation desire for hawa. The closer meaning is actually love. It's actually love. But it's different from hub. So what's the difference between hub and hawa? Hub is used in the Quran in good ways, positive ways, positive and negative. But you have in kuntum tuhibbun Allah fattabi'uni yuhibbukum Allah. If you love Allah, if you love me, follow me, and Allah will love you. If you love Allah, right? So love is used in great ways in the Quran. The word hub, but the word hawa is actually used for lower loves, animal loves, empty loves, whims, things you love that don't really have substance and meaning. Like, for example, I love this TikToker. That's hawa. I love that song. Oh my God, that's hawa. I love Messi. That's hawa. Okay. There's loves we have that don't have substance. They're empty within. Those are called hawa. They're whimsical. They're not substantive. There's no depth to them. The Prophet what is being said about the Prophet ﷺ is he doesn't let temporary feelings, moods, appetites. He doesn't ever make a decision based on them. He doesn't do this at all. And he's not doing this right now. Ma yantiqu in ma'ani and nahu could also mean as we speak right now, this is not his feelings talking. Because the previous ayah was what? Your sahib is not lost. He's not corrupted. No, this is not him defending himself. This is not him, oh, he feels bad that you call him these things, so he's defending himself. This is not coming from him. This is coming from who? It's coming from Allah. وَمَا يَنْتِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ. Because if somebody insults you and you decide to defend yourself, that doesn't come from someone else, that comes from you. But now Allah is saying, no, even that is not coming from him. He's not defending himself. I'm defending him. It's very beautiful inside the meanings of وَمَا يَنْتِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ. By the way, hawa is a kind of love that overtakes a person and empties them of all other feelings. Afterwards, I'll tell you, take from you, inshallah. Now, this is Imam Fakhruddin al-Razi again, talking about hawa. He says, وَأَحْسَنُ مَا يُقَالْ فِي تَفْسِيرِ الْهَوَىٰ أَنَّهَا الْمَحَبَّةِ لكن من النفس يقال هويته بمعنى أحببته لكن الحروف التي هوى تدل على الدنو والنزول والسقوط منه. He's saying, yes, hawa means love, but its secondary meanings have to do with falling and being low. So it's loving lower things, lesser things. And when someone loves things the kind of love they have is hawa, it makes them a lowly person. And the Prophet ﷺ is not a lowly person. And so that's not what is associated with him. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Ibn Ashur on the same word. ميل النفس إلى ما تحبه أو تحب أن تفعله دون أن يقتضيه العقل السليم الحكيم. This is really important. He says, hawa means you love something and it's irrational. Like you can't explain a good reason and you're actually denying common sense to love it. Stupid love is hawa. But I love it. Why? I don't know. I just do. That's hawa. I can't explain it. That's because it's hawa. Oh, these voices, I work on them. This is part of my preparation for the lecture. So the idea of hawa is the Prophet ﷺ he never desires something without it having meaning. Of course, he desired to marry Ummahatul Mu'mineen, but it was never based on something empty. There was always a purpose behind things that he loves. This is a really interesting statement about our Prophet ﷺ. And we talk so much about being like the Prophet ﷺ and taking inspiration from him. Maybe we should take inspiration on curbing hawa and I need to check in myself. How many hawa departments have I opened inside my heart? Like things that I'm loving and I'm obsessed with that have really no substance. And I have no logical explanation except I like it. That's it. And in fact, it's even harmful. It's even harmful. And that's the question you and I have to ask ourselves.